What if I stopped participating in the new stuff? What if I decided that the powerful PCs, the insane, crazy consoles just weren't for me anymore? What if I just stuck to my juvenile Nintendo ways, my indie developed games on a Steam Deck, my slightly less powerful, less intense, and less aggressive games? Does that make me any less of a gamer? I started asking myself this question immediately after the Game Awards finished. Because the Game Awards as a whole, I had a great time. I watched it with the community. We had a good time. It's my gaming new year, as it is for most of us. After the Game Awards, it took me a little time to recover. There was just a lot there that rubbed me the wrong way. And I started to ask some bigger questions like, what about gaming do I like? What is it about gaming that I'm holding on to? And I realized that a lot of gaming for me was shared experiences, right? A lot of it for us was shared experiences. I mean, the Nintendo 64, the first four-player console out there to really deliver an experience that they promised, was one where we have plenty of memories. And additionally, Super Nintendo 2-player, eventually GameCube, I mean, a lot of these experiences that we've had were shared ones. And as I've gotten older and older and older, sharing experiences with friends, with online things, have been there, and they're still very much so a part of the gaming industry, but the multiplayer experience as it stands is kind of rinse, lather, repeat. It seems that the experience you're having with someone else is diminished, and the experience that you're sold is one of always having to catch up. I realized something. Gaming as a whole is going in a direction that I may not be the target audience anymore. I mean, I've spent the first few months of this channel going back to the basics, going back to the Game Boy Advance, the Super Nintendo. But over the past few days, I mean, let's be honest, the past couple of weeks, I have finally found the love that I always wanted for my Nintendo Switch. It kind of took watching heavily mature and somewhat disturbing game trailers at the Game Awards to realize maybe gaming for me is more about having fun. Now, I'll admit, I think that one of my biggest strengths is thinking up things on the fly. I don't speak the best, but every single one of my videos is done completely impromptu, which it can probably show at times. But that does come with a massive weakness. That weakness is I have a really hard time planning stuff. I'm not good at planning, and if you've been in any of my streams, you've seen me change things pretty frequently. I'm always changing the game, I'm always changing the plan, and I've even changed the way that I make videos. But one thing is for certain, I'm always searching for that something. I'm always searching for the thing that is going to, I don't know, just feel right. And while I was watching the Game Awards, it certainly wasn't an experience where I could find that right feeling again, but there was something that I did feel. Something felt wrong. Something felt off. Something felt like it just wasn't me. And this was kind of an unfortunate realization. You see, Expedition 33 is a game that I've tried to stream multiple times. I've been through the first few hours now, and it's a great game. I feel as someone who loves JRPGs and loves these style of games, it's the perfect game. I fell in love with Elden Ring and the style of gaming where you just had to get good. And while that game itself was one that I found to be absurdly fun, it taught me a lot about myself, it still was a game where I struggled greatly to reason with some of the visuals. I'm kind of sensitive to those types of things, and I'm realizing as gaming has gone on, some of the big games that people really adore and love are getting into a spot where I just don't feel comfortable playing those games. And it kind of makes me feel like I'm less of a gamer. It kind of makes me feel like I'm juvenile, holding on to the past. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I still haven't seen the first few episodes of the last season of Stranger Things. And that is because the last time we watched Stranger Things, my wife and I, we watched it after the kids went to bed. And then both she and I had very stressful and not restful sleep. Your eyes are the window to your soul. And when you see things, hear things, feel things, you're going to be influenced pretty heavily by that. You can be good at deciphering what is good and wrong, what is right from bad, what is evil or whatever. It's very easy to be like, oh, that's obviously not a good thing to like. But what is really hard to decipher is how much is going to affect you. And I realized way too late It doesn't take much. And now for me, this did culminate at the Game Awards, and it did happen during one specific trailer, but then it kept hitting me over and over again. The gaming industry is infatuated with specific type of games, whether it's horror or sci-fi, or any sort of monsters or weird evil things. It is just kind of the way it is. And I did leave the experience feeling kind of less than. I'm like, I just don't know if I really enjoy this. I'm running to Minish Cap, Chrono Trigger. Some of these older titles, I had a blast playing through Yoshi's Island, replaying Mario 64, going through Tears of the Kingdom live over on Twitch again, and really enjoying it. Heck, I even started a brand new island in Animal Crossing, a game I never quite understood, and now I am like kind of obsessed with it. It feels good, it feels comforting, but most of all, it feels fun. It is so clear that when you watch things, like, it affects you. I'll give you an example, something I learned two things as of late. Watching John Cena, despite the fact that you never see that guy. So some of you might know, some of you might not. John Cena's last match was just a few days ago as of recording this video. My son came in to sit on my lap to watch a little bit of the last match from John Cena. He's being choked out in the sleeper hold, and he's fighting back. He's giving all of his moves. He's throwing them up off the thing. It was fun to watch, and my son was getting into it. My son is 2.5, by the way, but he was getting into it. Right? And we were laughing, and I was on the phone with Ethan, and we were all giggling and laughing. Immediately after he was done watching not more than 5 minutes of John Cena's final wrestling match, he exits my room all riled up, filled with gusto, and I hear a scream from the other room from my wife. Immediately, I'm like, what is happening? He had bit her. Unprovoked. He just bit her. And it didn't hit me till moments later that it's true. What enters through your eyes exits through your body. Actions. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to influence you. It doesn't take much to change your mood. And I just feel like I've become more and more conscientious and sensitive to that. Even when I'm watching regular television shows, watching them with my daughter, introducing her to shows like Pokemon that I grew up as a kid, watching the Indigo League, seeing how she gets tense when Pikachu is being carried almost dead, lifeless, by Ash and he's crying, seeing her cry when that happened, I realized we are so unbelievably affected by what we let enter through our eyes. I think something that I've been learning over these months of just being more intentional is there's absolutely a war for our attention. And as I, for one, have been heavily influenced by marketing, by really, really rad ad campaigns, just hitting the nostalgia or whatever, I am just as easily influenced as maybe you are by what is coming down the pike or around the bend, or however you want to use any of those phrases. And one of the biggest things I think that I can control is what I let in. And that is why I found myself reluctantly at times kind of fleeing from some of the big things that are out there. Not because they're big things, not because they're bad things, but because maybe I may not be better on the other side of that experience. And maybe there is nothing wrong with just wanting to get another Mario Wonder, just wanting to have another Sea of Stars moment, maybe just wanting to experience Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom for the 6th and 7th time. After all, gaming is supposed to be something where you exit it feeling better, more relaxed because the day was long, more excited because you were able to finally get that thing done. And for some people, again, these different types of games and stories are ones that they look for, and I don't fault you for that. But I do think, just as one of my daughter's friends says outside, my mom won't let me watch this show because she says it'll affect my brain. She goes, I don't think it'll affect my brain. And I said, your mom was right. Everything affects our brains. The music we listen to, the movies we watch, the words we say, not just to others, but to ourselves in the mirror. So I'll leave you with this, something that my father has said multiple times as I was a kid and teenager and even a young adult. He might have even said it to me as a full-blown adult. He asked, if people were to meet the man that is behind the closed door, is that the man they don't want to be friends with? Tell you what, I'm working at being that man as much as I can. I hope this meant something to you. certainly meant something to me. A little bit more of a introspective look. If you'd like to hang out, we're playing... Oh, it's hot! Just spilt on my leg. We're playing through some fun games over on Twitch. Feel free to join. The schedule is posted on Discord, which is open to everybody. But as always, play more and be kind. Cheers.